America, Florida, Miami International Airport, May 11th, 1996, 11:30 a.m. 24-year-old Jay Smith is being dropped off by his good friend Scott Kleiman. Jay is on his way home to Montgomery, Alabama.
Don't forget to say hi to your parents, okay?
Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and his whole family are looking forward to seeing him, especially his mother Susan, who dotes on him.
He is a wonderful child. I could not have asked for a better son. He is perfect in every way.
Jay checks the board for his flight, Valujet 592, due to leave at 1 o'clock. He's there in plenty of time because security is especially tight at the moment. The 26th Olympic Games start soon in Atlanta, and already the FBI have arrested right-wing militants and discovered hordes of bomb-making equipment. Islamic terrorist Ramzi Youssef is also in the headlines. He's accused of trying to blow up the World Trade Center. The FBI believes that members of his gang could still be at large and ready to strike. Airliners are thought to be a prime target. Booked on the same flight as Jay Smith are Sue and Ron Carpenter. They got married just 3 days ago on a cruise ship in the Caribbean. Sue's brother, Mike, is delighted for them.
She was never happier in her life, and I don't think Ron was either. They had common interest, enjoyed being together. They were such a good match.
Also traveling to Atlanta, there are several children. Among them, Andrew Leonard, his brother Jeremy, and sister Tabitha. She turns 13 a week today.
Final call for Valujet flight 592.
In total, 105 passengers are about to board the aircraft. It's a Douglas DC-932, a twin-engine jet with a distinctive T-tail stabilizer at the rear. The DC-9 has been in service for over 3 decades and was once a mainstay of American domestic aviation. But its history is not without incident. Since 1966, 77 DC-9s have been lost, with more than 1,800 fatalities. Now 27 years old, this particular plane has clocked up over 68,000 hours in the air and is currently owned by the budget airline Valujet. 1:25 p.m. Flight attendant Mandy Summers welcomes the passengers aboard. Has earned her the nickname Mrs. Valujet. She's only had the job for a few months, but she's hoping for promotion soon.
She just knew it wasn't really where she wanted to be in her life. I guess she envisioned it as something more than it really was when she actually started.
At the gate, ramp agents load the DC-9's full with passenger baggage, 23 kilos of US mail, and some aircraft parts, 3 tires, and several cardboard boxes labeled COMAT, short for company material. In the cockpit this afternoon is Captain Candlin Kubek.
All right, Richard, how about a before-start checklist?
She has 2,000 hours flying time on DC-9s. And within Valujet, she's famous for her dedication to the job.
She couldn't get it out of her blood. She was destined to fly and just wasn't happy any other way.
Surprise!
The day before, Candy celebrated her 35th birthday. Her crew threw her a surprise party on board the plane at Dallas and wanted her to go line dancing. But typically, she refused.
She said they knew better that I will never go out the night before a flight.
1:30 p.m. And the aircraft is 30 minutes behind schedule. There've been some minor mechanical problems. The jet's autopilot isn't working properly. A fuel gauge and cabin phone are out, and there's been a fault in the hydraulics backup circuit.
Fuel cross feeds?
Checking through the systems is First Officer Richard Hazen. He's an Air Force veteran with 20 years of aviation experience behind him. Faulty equipment is not an unusual state of affairs at Valujet. The carrier sells low-cost airfares using old planes bought from around the world. Its fleet is among the oldest in America, averaging 26 years. And there have been recent incidents. Just under a year ago, an engine exploded on another DC-9 while it was on the runway at Atlanta. 7 people were injured by flying debris, and the Federal Aviation Administration has the carrier under investigation. 1:32 p.m. Opa-locka Airfield, 16 kilometers from Miami International. Daniel Mulhaupt and his friend Rick Delisle get ready for a pleasure flight in Daniel's Piper Arrow light aircraft. 1:41. Mechanics can't fix the autopilot before the flight, so the flight crew disengage it. The other faults are not serious, and the plane is ready to go.
Set pressure normal.
Captain Kubek and First Officer Hazen go through their final pre-flight checks, preparing for takeoff. 1:44 p.m. After 44 minutes delay, ground control finally clears Flight 592, call sign Critter, for takeoff.
For the 592, you're clear to land about 97.
Clear on your side?
Clear right.
All right, clear over here on the left.
Now the flight crew begin to taxi the 48-ton plane towards the runway and wait for their takeoff slot. 2:03. 63 minutes after the scheduled departure time, the DC-9 begins to accelerate down the runway. And Captain Kubek gently eases its nose upwards. At last, Flight 592 is on its way.
For now, we ask that you just sit back, relax.
Lead flight attendant Jennifer Stearns makes the customary reassuring announcement to passengers. Captain Kubek puts the plane into a climb, heading for its cruising altitude of 10,500 meters.
952 departure.
Jay Smith and his fellow passengers sit back, relax, and prepare for the 92-minute flight to Atlanta. But at 2:10 p.m., just minutes after takeoff, people start to smell smoke. Flight attendant Mandy Summers but the temperature is rising and the smoke is getting thicker by the second. Valujet Flight 592, with the carpenters Jay Smith and 107 other passengers and crew aboard, is in serious trouble. 2:11 p.m., the situation is getting worse on board the DC-9 bound for Atlanta. Smoke is rising from the cabin floor, and it's getting thicker. At the same time, there's a problem in the cockpit. The pilots hear a loud bang on their headphones.
What was that?
I don't know.
They know there's a problem with the plane's electrics because the battery charger has activated, trying to restore power.
We're losing everything.
Then smoke starts to seep into the cockpit.
Critter 592, we need a meter return to Miami International.
Turn left, heading 270.
Descend and maintain 7,000.
What kind of problem do you have?
It's clear something is badly wrong.
Cockpit, there's smoke in the cabin.
3 kilometers away, Daniel Mulhaupt is at the controls of his light aircraft. He sees a large jet making a turn.
We're flying along, and around my 10 o'clock position, I saw an aircraft maneuvering along the canal.
2:11 and 30 seconds. On board the DC-9, Kubek struggles with the aircraft. It seems as if the controls are no longer responding normally. In the cabin, the temperature is rising. Flight attendant Jennifer Stearns bursts into the cockpit. She's desperate to know why the pilots have not lowered the passengers' oxygen masks.
We need oxygen. We can't get oxygen back there.
Jen, we can't do it. Can't do the mask.
The pilots refuse. They realize they're not going to make it back to Miami and desperately ask for the nearest airport instead.
We need vectors to an immediate.
And critter flight 92, vector reverse runway.
From his position in the light aircraft, it's obvious to Daniel Mulhaupt there's a crisis unfolding before his eyes.
This guy is out of control.
2:13 p.m. On the canal below, Chris Osceola is out fishing with his uncle Sam Nelson when he sees the DC-9.
Hey Sam, look at this plane.
The aircraft swoops just a few hundred meters over the two fishermen.
I don't see flames, I don't see smoke, the landing gear's up. He's doing some odd maneuvers out here.
2:13 and 34 seconds. On board the stricken plane, the passengers and crew have passed out. 2:13 and 42 seconds. Just 9 minutes and 27 seconds after takeoff. Flight 592 crashes into the Florida Everglades.